sort of rare in these parts. We get this situation where we find that it's a very busy sighting, so lots of people like to come to them and see what's going on with them, so often it can be a little bit of a rush sighting. Now hopefully they are going to start moving shortly, but I see that none of them are sneezing now, which means there's nothing really to worry about, so I think they're all okay. Maybe it was just a bit of dust. So David, you say, they're not sneezing because of dust from the cars? It could be. So where they are is on the deliveries road to Arathusa. If you actually look in front, you can see the sign with the dog sitting in front of us. So over there we go, welcome to Arathusa. And so lots of cars are going back and forth from this area at the moment, and that means lots of dust in the air, so they could very well be sneezing from that. I've seen now that none of them are actually sneezing at the moment, which means that in all likelihood it's okay. If it was something like distemper, you'd find that it would be a constant thing and they'd all be doing it non-stop, whereas now they've all stopped doing it and I haven't noticed any of them sneezing since we've been sitting with them, and they've all laid down again. So it could just be from the cars itself. I know I was sneezing earlier as well from all the dust, so it is very, very possible. Look at the female coming. Look how fat she is. Look at how shame. She is so big at the moment. My girl is a tough. You can see she's even panting. It can't be easy when you're that full as a wild dog. She's more round than she is tall at this stage. She's having a tough time of it. But yeah, that is close. The teats are even starting to swell, and you know when you start to see the teeth swelling, that she's starting to produce milk, means that she's not too far away from giving birth. I would say within, like I say, the next week or two maximum, she's going to be giving birth to those. The problem with wild dogs is that that's no guarantee that she's going to be in this area, because they move such massive distances that sometimes she could end up being in a situation where by tomorrow they could be in the southern part of the Sabi Sands and no longer in this area. So 2 weeks is still a long time when it comes to actually giving birth. But hopefully they've found somewhere here that they like, and that they're actually going to spend time and utilize this area as a den area, because that will just be the most spectacular thing for us as guides. We'll be able to see such interesting behavior, and there are very few things as cute as a baby wild dog. I wonder if you can actually see them moving. It would be so nice if she just sat still and we spent some time, and if we could actually see the babies moving inside there. I reckon that you probably could. It wouldn't surprise me. And we've got two that are busy playing around here, so while she waddles off into the sunset, there's a couple of them on my right hand side that are being naughty and busy playing around and sort of jumping on each other. So there they are, and look at that, in that sort of golden light. And so when I was saying just now that a disease spreads quite quickly with the dogs, you can see why. They always sort of going at one another and touching one another and sort of giving each other, bites and licking each other. And so that's why anything that's spread through saliva spreads very, very fast. And part of the reason why their numbers have decreased so much over the last little bit. I wonder, is there a tick on that one's eye, Craig, on the one on the right? Can you zoom in on its eye for me? Right hand side? Other one? That one there. Yes, look at the size of that tick on its eye. So it's not a tick. What is that? Is it just a marking? H. Macy, you're wondering if the pack did have distemper, would the pups be born with it? Well, if the pack has distemper and they don't get treated, within the next week they will all be dead. That's how bad distemper is for wild dogs. So it's not something that we would, not something that we would want, but they can be treated for it. And so if they were treated, then no, the pups would not have distemper. It would be a situation where they would be all okay. But I don't think they have it. Now that I'm just sitting and looking at all of them, none of them are foaming, none of them are sort of sneezing too much, and coughing is probably the biggest sign of distemper. You'll find that they cough quite a bit, and so there's no coughing happening at the moment, which means that we are all okay. So I reckon these dogs are just fine and healthy. There's no need to stress. There's also a big program on at the moment where they're treating all the wild dogs in Kruger and the greater Kruger area for distemper, and they've done a lot of blood work and they've done a lot of vaccine work, and so it seems at this stage that most of the dogs have been treated. I think the Sands pack, which is the pack we're with, was the last pack to be done, and they were done quite recently, so I think all is okay. But look at this dog when it comes alert. Look at that. See that stance and the ears? What have you seen? They always remind me of Mickey Mouse for some reason. I know that they don't look like Mickey Mouse, but just their sort of ear shape. So, Lady Starfire, distemper is a disease that is spread into canines, so it's basically prevalent in dogs more than anything else. And how they contract it is because we have a lot of communities on the edge of these areas, and there's a lot of dogs, unfortunately, that don't have access to good veterinary care because of the fact that we're in an area where we're sort of in a more rural section, and there's a lot of poverty out here. And so there's stray dogs that wander off, and they've contracted the distemper from other dogs, and they then wander towards the reserve, and wild dogs then go drink from the same place that those dogs have drank from, or they actually kill that dog, and that's how they contract it. It's much like rabies. It's a very similar system to how rabies works. It's just within canines, it is so contagious that once it gets into a dog pack, it's very difficult to stop it. This is very cool. The light is beautiful this afternoon. But it seems like they're just still quite happy to rest for a while. I don't think they're going to be moving just yet. It's kind of one or two of them are restless, but the majority of them are just trying to take it very easy at this stage. So, Beard, you're wondering if wild dogs would ever approach human habitation? Well, yes, they would. So, wild dogs, we're right at the lodge, as you can see. We're at Arathusa Lodge, so you know all about Arathusa. You stayed here, Beard. And so they literally will run through the lodges. I've heard of them running through villages in parts of Zambia and Botswana. And so, yes, they do from time to time. What are you chewing on? Sometimes find they chew on millipedes, but there's not very many millipedes around, so I'm not sure what it's found itself there. Maybe it found itself some sort of beetle that it's decided to eat. Wild dogs are quite curious, and they'll often do things like this, so it does happen from time to time, where they'll pick up things and chew them and bite them. Are you very aware of what's going on? So, Becca, you're wondering about how many wild dogs make up a pack usually. Well, it depends. I mean, it's obviously these days the numbers of wild dogs are less and less as sort of time has gone on. But generally in the Kruger system, the average sort of pack size is about 10 dogs, 10 to 12 dogs. There are big packs, so the pack around Auckland at one stage was almost 40, but there are also smaller packs. We see packs here of 3 individuals. There's 2 different packs of 3 individuals, so the average is around 10 to 12 dogs. That would be kind of average for Greater Kruger National Park. In the past, it wasn't uncommon to get packs of dogs that went over 60 at times, so it's just that their numbers have decreased, and unfortunately, in the areas that we're in, particularly in the Sabi Sand section, there's just too many predators for a pack of that size to actually do well. You'll find hyenas, lion, leopard hammer the pups when they're younger, and so their numbers just can't grow to that size. Now, there's lots of other vehicles that want to come to the sighting, so I think we unfortunately are going to have to leave. I can hear lots of guys on standby, so we're going to probably have our last sort of visuals of these wild dogs before we before we allow some of the others to come in. But isn't that a magic scene? Sunset, wild dogs, really is beautiful.